So Llpsi, welcome to this video lesson on chapter 31, section 3. We're starting here with Amelia, as she says, Pater qui infantem exposuit, ipse necandus est. A father who has exposed an infant, a baby, must himself be killed. Nonne talis pater tibi videtur, cruce dignus esse. Doesn't such a father seem to you to be worthy of the cross, which is to say, worthy of being crucified? Julius says, Certe pater tam inhumanus severe puniendus est. Certainly so inhuman a father must be punished severely. So notice that the necandus est up above and the puniendus est here both are gerundives in passive periphrastic. Is to be killed and is to be punished, thus must be killed, must be punished. All right, and then in 135, namque infantes invalidos exponere, for to expose weak babies, es mos antiquus atque crudelis, is an ancient and cruel custom. Alii nunc sunt mores, other are the morals, are the moralities now. That is to say, Roman customs and morals these days are different. Verum hominum librum cruci figere, but to fix a free man on the cross, that is to crucify a free man, non est mos Romanorum, is not the custom of the Romans. Id supplicium in servo statutum est, that punishment has been established against slaves. This is to say, if you're a Roman citizen, then you could not be tortured and you could not be put to death. The only exception to that would be maybe if you were found guilty of treason. Maiestas is usually what they call that. And if you're guilty of treason, acting against the state, then sometimes you are no longer considered to be a citizen, so you could be put to death. All right, then Amelia says, Ergo, qui infantem suum debilim ad feras exponi usit, ipse ad bestias mitindus est, cum aliis hominibus scelestis. Therefore, the person who, qui, has ordered, usit, his own weak baby, infantem suum debilim, to be exposed to wild animals, exponi ad feras, he himself, ipse, must be sent to the beasts. All right, so mitindus est is another gerundive in passive periphrastic. Literally, is to be sent, thus must be sent. Along with other wicked men, cum aliis hominibus scelestis. And then Orontes adds, et cum Christianis istis, and along with those Christians, qui quindam hominem Judaeum tamquam novum Deum adorant, who worship, qui adorant, a certain Jewish man, quindam hominem Judaeum, like or just as a new God, tamquam novum Deum. Deos veteres Romanos derident, and they deride or mock old Roman gods. In their parties, in convivii suis, sanguinem humanum bibere solent, they are accustomed to drink human blood, ut rumor est, as is the rumor. Now, this is a reference, of course, to communion. So because many Christians in the early church, and this is still the case in Catholic circles, believe that the dogma is the sort of way that you should believe is that when you take communion, the wine and the bread actually become the blood and the body of Christ. So if you believe that and you say that, then people think that you're cannibals. You're eating people and you're drinking their blood. So this created a lot of problems with them for the Romans who heard these reports. And then Amelia says, non omnes veris sunt rumores qui afferuntur super Christianis. Not all of the rumors which are brought or said about Christians are true. And then Fabia says, Nec omnes infantes expositi periunt, nor are all exposed babies perishing, nor do all exposed babies die. Alii in silvis ab ipsi spheris aluntur, some are nurtured or nursed in the forests by the wild animals themselves. Alii inveniuntur, others are found a pastoribus, by shepherds, qui eos cum liberi suis educant, who raise them with their own children. And then Orontes says, Sicut paris regis Priami filius debilis, just as Paris, the weak son of King Priam, qui a servo regis fido in quoda monte prope ervam Troiam expositus, and he gets interrupted, but he was saying, who, exposed by a faithful servant of the king on a certain mountain near the city Troy. And then Cornelius bursts in, at Cornelius, but Cornelius, he says, inquit, opus non est, it is not necessary, vetus exemplum Graecum afferre, to bring forward a old Greek example, cum plures fabulae narentur de Romanis puris, when several stories are told about Roman boys, qui ita servati sunt, who have been saved in such a way. Ceterum fabulam male intellexiste, but you understood the story badly. Nec enim debilis fuit paris, nor indeed was Paris weak. Nec fidus servus Priami, nor was the slave of Priam faithful. Nam rex ei imperaurat, for the king had ordered him, ut paridem interfeceret, that he should kill Paris. Et quidquid dominus imperavit, and whatever the master has ordered, servo faciendum est, must be done, is to be done, there's another gerundive in passive periphrastic, by the slave, servo. Now note in the margin they tell you servo is dative, and they say it's the equivalent of a servo, by the slave. With these passive periphrastics, you have to use the dative instead of arab plus ablative as you normally see. So Orontes, going on, says, Ille servus non puniendus, that slave is not to be punished, sed potius laudandus fuit, but he was rather to be praised. Nomque ita paradim servavit, for so he saved Paris, eum qui postea Helenam feminam omnium pilcerimam a marito minalao abduxit, him who afterwards abducted Helen, the most beautiful of all women, or the woman most beautiful of all, from her husband Menelaus. Now, of course, I don't think this is something to praise someone about, but we'll see in a minute why Orontes thinks he should be praised. And then Pallas says, Num tantam injuriam laudandum esse quinces, surely you don't think that so great an injury or injustice must be praised. So laudandum esse is an infinitive version of the passive periphrastic, to be praised. Surely you don't think such an injury is to be praised, that is to say, should be praised. Orontes then says, Quod Venus suadit injuria non est, because Venus is advising or is persuading him, it is not an injury, an injustice. He says, basically, since Venus, the goddess, was leading on Paris, it wasn't a bad thing to steal somebody else's wife away. Well, that's his opinion. Sane laudandus est ille juvenis, clearly that young man is to be praised, qui non modo feminam illam pulcherrimam abducere ausus est, who not only dared, ausus est, to abduct that most beautiful woman, sed etiam miles fortissimus fuit, but also was a very brave or most brave soldier, qui et multos alios hostes et ipsum Achillum occidit, who killed both many other enemies and Achilles himself. And this is true. Paris is the one who killed the Greek hero Achilles, the greatest Greek hero of the Trojan War. Of course, he just shot him in the heel, and Apollo guided his arrow, and, you know, it's not very glorious. Hic poculum tollit, Orontes, et exclamat. Here Orontes lifts up his cup, and he shouts out, Vivat fortissimus quisque! Let each most brave man live. It's kind of like long live each most brave man. So he's toasting brave men who do things like steal women away from their husbands. Again, Orontes is not my sort of a person. We want omnes feminae amandae. Long live all women to be loved. In other words, all women who are very lovable, we might say. So there is where his true nature comes out. So why he thinks this slave was so glorious is because it brought about basically the stealing of Helen, who's the most beautiful of all women, and Orontes just really likes beautiful women. Gaudiamus atque amamos. Let us rejoice or be happy, and let us love. Juvene sumus ut paris. We're young men like Paris. Non senes ut priamus rex Trojanorum. Not old men like Priam, the king of the Trojans, aut Nestor, dux Graecorum senex, or Nestor, the old general of the Greeks, qui ad nonagesimum annum vixit, who lived to the 90th year. Quis feminas amat, whoever loves women, poculum tollat, let him raise a cup, et bibat mecum, and let him drink with me. Nunc merum bibendum est, now pure wine must be drunk. So he's saying, get drunk with me, guys. I don't know if he's calling the women to do it too. Maybe he would hope they would, but Orontes, he is quite something. Cornelius then says, Tacendum est, non babindum. One should shut up, not drink, right? Basically, it must be shut up, it must be quiet, not it must be drunk. If you translate that literally, it's a little bit hard. So basically what he wants to say is something like if we said, you should shut up, not drink. In other words, you're drinking too much and talking too much. All right. Jam nimium bibisti. Now you have drunk too much, or you have already drunk too much. Quinceo te unum tantum vini bibisse quantum nos omnes. I think that you alone have drunk as much wine as all of us, nos omnes. Vel potius alterum tantum, or rather, again as much, in other words, twice as much. And then Orontes says, Vos igitur parum bibistis. Therefore you all are drinking too little, parum. Or have drunk too little, rather, because bibistis is a perfect tense. So he's saying, well, I might be drinking a lot, but that just means you're drinking too little. Numquam nimium huius veni bibere possum. I am never able to drink too much of this wine. Valeat quisquis vinum bonum amat. May he be well whoever loves good wine. Vivat Bacchus, Deus vini. Long live Bacchus, the god of wine. Vivamus omnes et bibamus. Let's all live and let's drink. Pocula funditus exhariamus. Let us all drain our cups to the bottom. Funditus is a nice adverb meaning all the way to the bottom. Fundus. And then Pallas says, Jam take. Now shut up. Satis est. It's enough of that. None te pudet, ita ab ovo usque ad mala fabulare. Doesn't it shame you to tell stories such from the egg all the way to the apples? And this phrase, ab ovo usque ad mala, from the egg all the way to the apples, it means from the beginning to the end of the meal. Or it can be used proverbially just to mean beginning of the end, from the beginning to the end of anything. So basically she's like, you've been blabbing on the whole party. Sane pudendum est. Clearly, it must be felt shame. In other words, clearly you should be ashamed. All right? So this is a little bit like up above when we had the takindum est, it must be quiet, non bebindum, not to be drunk. And I said, it's kind of like you should be quiet, not drink. And then here, clearly you ought to be ashamed. Sane pudendum est. Orontes autem, however orontes, simul atque poculum suum funditus exaucit, as soon as he has drained his own cup to the bottom, funditus, a Paula ad Aemiliam versus, turning away from Paula, which is his wife, to Aemilia, which is Julius's wife, he says, omnes mame interpellant inquit, praeter te Aemilia, tut tam pulchra es quam Helena. They're all interrupting me, except for you, Aemilia. You are so pretty as Helen. And then Aemilia says, et tu tam rusticus quam Paris. And you are as countrified as Paris. Qui inter rudes pastores educatus erat. Who had been raised among rude, or in other words, uncivilized shepherds. Numquam mores urbanos didicisti rusticae. You never learned city manners, city morals, you hic, rusticus. Nimium potavisti. You drank too much. Ebrius es. You're drunk. Abstine manum me. Keep your hand away from me. Orontes iterum. Poculum tollens, haec cantat. Orontes, again, lifting up his cup, sings these things, or these words. Quisquis amat valeat, periat quis nescit amare, bis tanto pariat, quisquis amare vetat. All right, now this is an elegiac couplet, which is a common Roman poetic form for love poetry, and it translates, whoever loves, quisquis amat, let him be well, be healthy, valeat. Let him die, periat. Who does not know how to love, qui nescit amare. Bis tanto periat, twice as much let him die, quisquis amare vetat. Whoever forbids someone to love. Okay, so it's all about the love. Even if the person you're loving is somebody else's wife, I don't know. So he's getting himself in trouble here. And Aemilia says, no lumus istas nugas audire, ebrius es. We don't want to hear those trifles, those nonsense words of yours. Nugae are basically nonsense things, so just stuff that doesn't mean anything, right? We don't want to hear that nonsense of yours. You're drunk. Orontes negat se esse ebrium. Orontes denies that he is drunk. Atque in lecto surgens, and rising up on the couch, aliud carmen super femina falsa et infida cantare incipit. He begins to sing another poem, Cantare aliud Carmen, about a false and unfaithful woman. Sed prius quam finem facit, but before he makes an end of it, sub mensam labitur, he slips right under the table. So that is to say, he falls off of the couch, he's so drunk, and underneath the table, which is in the middle of the couches. Duo servi, two slaves, eum e triclinio alferunt, carry him out of the dining room, atque in cubiculo ponunt, and they place him in a bedroom. Tum vestim super eum iam dormientem sternunt. Then they lay a cloth over him as he's now sleeping. All right, well, I believe that is the end of the story. Just check. Yes, there's just this one little poem, which we will read as well. And here is what the poem is. This is the poem that we saw him quoting. And essentially, they're just showing us that this comes from some Roman graffiti. It tells us on the side that this poem is inscribed at Pompeii, which of course was destroyed by the eruption of Vesuvius. And it's the same poem that we were just reading in the story. Whoever loves, let him be well, let him perish who does not know how to love. Twice as much let him perish whoever forbids somebody to love, right? Awesome. Well, I hope you learned a few things in that video lesson, and I hope none of you ever act like Orontes. Don't recommend that. But, I'm not sure that Julius is that much better either. I think maybe Cornelius is the most decent of the guys here, and Amelia definitely is a lot more sensible than her husband, and perhaps the most sensible of all in this scene. I don't know. Let you think what you will. Well,